Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. You pick the best of the best obese men, and if you guys saw this man with his shirt off, you're gonna have a different opinion. The guy's dressed up, he's covering his body. If he's swimming in the swimming pool with his stomach hanging out at 35% body fat, women aren't gonna have the same opinion.
This other thing I really did appreciate is that you did a video on like myths. It had to do with exercise myths, and one of them, I come from a physics background, and the thermodynamics one, where people are actually denying that calories in, calories out was a thing. Can you go over that? Were there any other myths like that one, and were there any other myths that you didn't like?
I honestly can't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, specifically the calories in, calories out. It drives me absolutely insane when people say they can't lose weight, like that obesity isn't a choice. Of course, being obese is a choice. If you don't eat, you're going to lose weight. If you do cardio, you're going to burn calories, you're going to lose weight. So when
Mhm.
people say, I have this disease or that disease or a slow metabolism, it drives me insane. Maybe there's a myth, for example, that if you eat sugar, you're going to get fat or that sugar is bad for you. That's absolutely ridiculous. Eddie Abu has been spewing this nonsense as of late.
Yeah.
If you eat fruit, it's bad for you. Carrots are bad for you because there's sugar in it. Everyone is worried about sugar. Or the myth that as long as you're eating keto, if you're just eating fats and proteins, you can't gain weight. You can eat as much as you want as long as there's no carbs in it. Another ridiculous myth. Everything boils down to calories in, calories out.
Nice. One thing I really appreciated was you on that Jubilee interview when guys were going off about there was it was really interesting to me because they put that one male model who was obese on there, but clearly because he was so good looking, kind of making up for the fact that he was obese. He's 6'6" and like really, really or 6'5" and like really, really handsome. And I thought you pointed out a lot of stuff. It's like I felt like the whole organization of that interview was set up so that he was so good looking that it overcame the fact that he was obese. But it's crazy when I was hearing them actually state, no, women would prefer us to look this way. It was like just a denial of reality.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. You pick the best of the best obese men, and if you guys saw this man with his shirt off, you're gonna have a different opinion. The guy's dressed up, he's covering his body. If he's swimming in the swimming pool with his stomach hanging out at 35% body fat, women aren't gonna have the same opinion. But you get a guy with the perfect beard, the perfect good-looking face. He's what, 30 years old, and you're saying this guy's more attractive than I am, and I'm an old man? I mean, really, is this fair? He's a foot taller than me. And women want to feel safe. This guy's 330 pounds. Of course, they're going to feel safe with him. And so it's ridiculous to say that this is a representation of what it's like to be obese.
Have you seen some of the evolutionary psychology studies where they go over like children will stare at the faces of physically attractive people, or the concepts of the objectivity or subjectivity of physical attractiveness? Have you ever seen any of this stuff?
I haven't read many studies like that, but I do know that children, even at an early age, for example, when shown an obese school teacher and a thin school teacher and said, which one do you want as your teacher? They're picking the thin teacher every single time. They say they're nicer, they're more polite. And so they're already at 5 years of age have these ideas that if you're obese, you're not going to be as nice of a person. You're not going to be somebody that you want to be having as your educator. And these are 5-year-olds.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I think it's a good segue into, I think we talk about a lot, on our end, is the dad bod myth.
Yes.
And I feel like the Jubilee episode is trying to put that onto, their audience and say that like, hey, you are not actually attracted to fat people. It's because of society. It's not something natural at all. So have you ever heard about that dad bod myth and like how women say they prefer dad bods, but in reality, that's not what they're attracted to?
Well, in 2024, everyone's worried about being canceled. So no one wants to say the actual truth. So on this show, we have me, who gives my actual opinion, and then you have Myron, who gives his actual opinion, but does so in a rude way, which people didn't like. But he's saying the truth. Myron could have said the exact same thing he said, but said it in a more presentable fashion, like without saying, you're a fat piece of shit. If you just said, you're fat and overweight, and not saying you're a piece of shit, that's kind of going too far. But he was speaking the truth. And so everything he was saying, I was agreeing 100%. He just presented the misinformation in a bit more of a harsh way, and people didn't like to accept. But the reality is this: people like healthy people. People don't want to have somebody who's overweight.
Right.
And so when you have a microphone in someone's face and a camera and say, what do you think about this? Would you date this person? What do you think? Oh, yeah, it's what's on the inside that counts. I like a nice person. No, you don't. You want a mean guy that tells it like it is, that's confident. Perhaps he's arrogant, cocky. That's what you actually like. That's what you're attracted to.
There's a great video where a guy runs around and he asks these ladies, like dozens of them, is Lizzo attractive? And all the women are like, yeah, Lizzo's very attractive. Lizzo's very attractive. Then at the very end, he goes up to a girl. He goes, hey, you kind of remind me of Lizzo. And then she punches him. Have you ever seen this video?
I've never seen it, but this is typical of women. They will all say that all women are tense. Men will tell each other, hey, you're looking kind of chubby, you're fat. People make fun of each other. They're kind of keeping them in check. Women, everyone's a 10. You're all beautiful. And it's like, really? You're not. Would you trade bodies with your friend who's 300 pounds? That should be the question. Would you trade and accept if you were to look like your friend? The answer is no.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a good segue. I've noticed, over the past couple months to a year, you've kind of sprinkled in a lot of like men's self-development and like current situations. Like you're talking about like dating app statistics, most women not understanding the average guy, most women finding most men unattractive. And I noticed that over the past couple months. My question to you is, why have you decided to start, highlighting that in your content?
I talk about what I'm interested in. And so, for example, when I was making content 5 years ago, I was on steroids. So I was saying, hey, I'm on test, I'm on Rad 140, I'm on SARMs. This is how it feels. This is how much muscle I'm putting on. This is what I'm doing. And once I became single after a 10-year relationship breakup, I was then single and I was into the dating world. And so I'm like, this is what's the reality of my world. I'm a 5'6" manlet. If I go on a dating site, 85% of women are going to swipe past me because of my height right away. And how much money do you have to make up for this? What are women looking for? And I'm just keeping it real. I literally just posted a video the other day, how to get laid. Literally,
saw it.
How to get laid. I changed the name to How to Get David Laid just so that the algorithm would I guess, push it a little bit more. But I'm telling people from day one how to do this because people think you need to simp for women. It's the opposite.
Amazing.
Since you were in a relationship for 10 years and now you just recently came back onto the scene, what were some of the biggest realizations that you had as you got back on into the field, per se?
Well, that if you have high status and that if you make a lot of money, you're going to get a lot more girls than if you don't.
Right.
Because think of it. I've been in a relationship for 10 years. So I'm 48 years old. The last time I was single, I think I was 37. And so the girls, or let's say the caliber or the attractiveness scale or the sexual market value of the women who are interested in me at 48 are much higher than when I was 38. Now, when I was 38, I was a school teacher. I still had a decent job, but I certainly wasn't making six figures. And so
you didn't have the following either.
Yeah, I have a lot more fame or people know about me and a heck of a lot more money. And so obviously there's a lot more interest. But I mean, obviously, if you have 2 million followers, there's a certain percentage, those are women. And if you have a certain percentage of women who watch 1,000 of your videos, there's going to be some of them that are interested in you and they like your personality, your character. And so they're going to be of interest. And so people make these videos. There's no woman that would be interested in me under age of 40.
If you're watching this, I have a gift for you. Hit the link below and I will send you a private invite to my community for free.